An Achilles heel for the Modi government. There's a huge storm over the land acquisition bill, the amended version that this government is planning to bring. The Modi government's reforms agenda has that now hit a roadblock. Joining us for this second talking point, Jaiveer Shergill is a Supreme Court lawyer and spokesperson for the Congress Party. Professor Saugata Roy is Member of Parliament of the Trinamool Congress, and Dr. Subramaniam Swamy is still with us, Senior Leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Jaiveer Shergill, has the land acquisition bill now become the Achilles heel? What the Lokpal was for your government, the UPA, the land acquisition bill could potentially become for this government?
Zaka, I want to make 3-4 quick points. First things first, the BJP has literally set cat amongst the pigeons by first issuing the ordinance and now placing this bill. Now, there are 3 aspects to this entire matter. Number 1 is the BJP's entire hypocrisy. Number 2, the method and manner in which these changes have been sort of brought in. Number 3, the substance of these changes juxtaposed with the 2013 Act and the 1894 law. Now, 2013 Act reflected political unanimity. What has changed overnight? Sumitra Mahajan committee recommendation, Sushma Swaraj ji on 9th April 2013, Rajnath ji on 18th April 2013, all gave their suggestions which are reflected in the law. What has changed overnight? I'm still battling with my thoughts.
No, it's not overnight. It's not overnight, Jaiveer Shergill. In fact, over the last, even when the Act was passed, even when, hang on a second. You made 2-3 points. Hang on a second. You made 2-3 points. Hang on a second. Let me counter that. Even when that Act was passed in September of 2013, there were repeated calls by industry bodies, by investors that, look, this law is going to be detrimental into getting investment into this country. And that has happened. History has borne that out from September 2013 up until now. So if the government, you may disagree with the manner in which they're going about it, but if the government wants to remove what it perceives as impediments to bringing in investment, then what is wrong with that?
Let me specifically counter that. There are 2 things which are wrong in that. Number 1, here we are talking about BJP's stand qua this entire law. They were instrumental in the lawmaking exercise. Number 2, now if you weigh the interest of the corporate and the interest of the farmer, it is comparing elephant to a quail. Let's look at the statistics. 60 to 65 million people stand displaced as we speak today. Second, we are the highest number 1 ranking country in the world of displaced people with no rehabilitation. Do we want to maintain that rank? Number 3, 2013 Act, yes, of course, it will have its pros and cons. It fairly balances the corporates and the rights of the farmer. For the, the very fact we have an acquisition law, Japan doesn't have, England doesn't have, US doesn't have. You have to do a private purchase. We are committed to development, doing a sustainability. Number 2, Zaka, just take 30 seconds.
Yeah, quickly.
What did we sought to change? The draconian colonial law of 1894. There were, 3 things. There was no voice of people. There was no social impact assessment, rehabilitation. Now, Section 10A, which is sought to be amended, which exempts these 5 categories. How will you rehabilitate those people?
Okay, Professor Saugata Roy, the government's argument...
Number 3,
I've given you more than enough time. Give me a moment. Professor Saugata Roy, the government's argument is that they had a meeting with all state governments in July of last year. Mr. Nitin Gadkari chaired that meeting, and in that meeting, 22 out of the 28 states said doing away with the social impact assessment clause and the consent clause was the right thing to do because it was holding up investment. And the biggest support for that came from Congress-ruled states. Professor Roy, can you hear me?
Yes. What's the question?
The question is, the government's argument is that they had a meeting before they brought in this ordinance with the proposed amendments, where they did away with the social impact assessment and where they did away with the consent clause. They had a meeting with all state chief ministers, and in that meeting, 22 out of 28 states gave their go-ahead for dropping these 2 contentious clauses. Now, why is the opposition turning around and saying that the government is changing the goalposts?
I do not know about other parties. Our party has totally been opposed to forcible land acquisition and continues to be so. Our party built its base among the peasantry by going into the Singur agitation and then the Nondigram agitation, where the left front government had attempted to take over land of farmers forcibly. When the UPA 2 government, we are not in government then, brought the right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement bill, we found that it was definitely an improvement on the 1894 Land Acquisition Act.
Okay.
We were still not happy with it because in the case of private parties, the 2013 bill that allowed acquisition if a private party had acquired 80% of the land. And in case of a PPP project, 70% consent of the farmers was necessary. So even at that time, when the bill was being passed, we had opposed. We said that we want 100% consent of farmers before any land could be taken up. But still, the bill of 2013 was an improvement on the 1894 bill.
Okay, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, I want to bring you in. Dr. Subramanian Swamy, I want to bring you in because there was a parliamentary committee headed by the current speaker who belongs to the BJP, Sumitra Mahajan, and in the report that they tabled in Parliament on the basis of which this act was passed in September of 2013 says, and I quote, "Given the nature of our land records and given the clout of land mafias, the government must have a decisive role in land acquisition. The Act adopts a middle path acquisition for private sector projects after 80% of farmers have given their written consent and the consent requirement being 70% for PPP projects." Is the government now going back on what its own parliamentary committee, headed by its own member, who is now the speaker, is it going back on that?
Well, you see, I think the government had a difficult choice to make because there was this desire that the Make in India program be an instant and quick success. And the people we consulted, the party consulted, the government consulted, from really people in the industrial world and not only within India but abroad, they made this the single most important issue. And we were given an assurance by Congress, as you mentioned about the Nitin Gadkari meeting, and the Congress did a U-turn. But let me say also that
who in the Congress gave you an assurance?
RSS,
who in the Congress gave you an assurance?
Well, the chief ministers who attended that meeting, you see, they were willing to go along with it. And we misjudged the capacity of the Congress to do U-turns. And we therefore have found ourselves in a difficult situation. Now we are responding as a democratic party. So say, all right, we will now relook at this and see how we can accommodate and still achieve the maximum of what we wanted to do.
Dr. Swamy, I know you don't speak for the government, but as a senior leader of the BJP,
yes,
you are telling our viewers on this program that if the mood of the House or if the consensus view in the House is to drop is to bring back these two clauses, the social impact assessment and the consent clause, then this government will do it.
Well, we are always, I'm speaking with the knowledge I have of how the party functions, that the mood of the parliament, if it's clearly expressed as this consultation process is going to reveal, yes, we would make that adjustment. We are not going to stand on prestige.
Okay.
The prestige can't be a factor here.
Thank you very much. That's a big headline that's coming out from Subramanian Swamy, senior leader of the BJP, that if the mood of the House, if the consensus view of among all political parties and people whose interests are at stake in this issue, even outside of Parliament, if the consensus view is that they need to bring back these two clauses, then the government will not hesitate. Jaiveer Shergill, I know it's a fair distance off from that, but if that were to happen, you would agree. You would say that yes, the government has listened to us.
As far as Congress party is concerned, we have only one viewpoint. That is, the 2013 law has to stand. It has remained unchanged word by word. Till that happens, if we are fair enough, fine. We all go home happy. If there are alterations which impact the interest of the farmers, especially the SIA and the consent clause, and also the multi-crop irrigation land, which said that you can only acquire in exceptional circumstances, even that has been weaved into Section 10 in these 5 exempted categories. We will not budge. We want the 2013 law to remain untouched as it is, which reflects the political will of the Bharatiya Janata Party as well when they were in opposition.
Okay, I guess that's our second headline, with the Congress saying that they want nothing short of the 2013 Act in its entirety without even a comma change. But I want to thank you very much, Dr. Subramanian Swamy from the BJP, Jaiveer Shergill of the Congress, and Professor Saugata Roy from the Trinamool Congress, with your thoughts and perspective in this Land Acquisition Act drama that's been playing out both inside and outside of Parliament. Remember, there was the big protest today by Anna Hazare, Arvind Kejriwal adding his 2 bits there as well. There is clearly pressure on the government. What happens, though, to the government's economic reforms agenda? We'll wait and see how that story plays out through the course of the budget session.